Ready?
There it is. Welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, the video game music podcast. I am Rob Nichols.
And I think I'm Purnell.
I'm pretty sure you're Purnell.
Are you sure? I'm trying to figure it out.
Every week we get down to some great video game music. What do you say, Purnell?
I say I'm ready to jam on it and then some. It's been an interesting week.
Yeah? Tell me about it.
Temperatures are dropping at a crazy rate.
Yeah, if you're out here on the East Coast, man, it's rough.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Anyway, but hey, the holidays are coming up, and that's always good.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. I am a big fan of said holidays. Actually, who am I kidding? No, I'm more about eggnog and sleeping. So
Sleepy eggnog.
that's right. So to me, that is a party, and I'm ready for a little bit of that, and a lot of bit of the other part, more sleeping. So also some games. The games are actually what I do when I'm awake. So
Oh, totally.
how about you? Are you ready for your festive times?
I think so. We got a big party, big family party coming up this weekend. Looking forward to that because it's hard to get all the family members together at one time. So we're getting together this. We picked one day and we're getting everyone there.
Any kind of crazy events taking place, like a cook-off
No.
or some sort of like Festivus poll thing, like on the Seinfeld?
There is always like a thing where like we try to make like the best desserts, and so there's always like a sweets contest.
So cook-off
A
or
little
bake-off.
a little bake-off.
Yeah.
And I am the judge. I'm gonna taste them all.
It's the best job to have. Let's be real here.
I am the official beer taster.
You get beer tasting and snack Psh,
I'm the self-appointed beer taster.
I mean, Mark needs to start doing some parties like that. Shoot. Give me a badge. Like, what do you do? I'm here to eat the food,
Yeah,
and my authority matters.
it does, man.
Yeah, but
So anyway, our next episode's going to come out actually the day after the 25th, which is pretty awesome. So our next one is going to be the holiday special,
the Winter Spectacular.
Winter Spectacular. But this episode's going to be a little different. We decided to focus on the great women of video game music.
Well, the great women, but then we said we should choose one of them.
Well, we were like, I was like, hey, let's just do great female composers, and you're like, let's do a composer focus. I'm like, all right, we'll focus on one. So we're starting close to the beginning here. So this is your suggestion, and we're going all the way back to the early arcade days of Namco.
Oh man, as you guys know, that's a and Rob is right at home with this sort of thing.
I love the classic stuff, and I love listening to the classic stuff. But that's why I was surprised. So our focus today is on Junko Ozawa, composer for Namco.
Oh man, yeah, I was looking for this. Basically, he gives me the topic, or we come up with the topic, and I was like, okay, we gotta come up with a person. And as I'm looking through some names, this one particular name stands out, being Junko Ozawa, and I didn't know why it stood out. But then the moment I found the track, which is going to be on the show, so I'm not going to say it now.
Well, we can say what games that she's famous for.
Oh, touche.
So the Tower of Druaga.
Pac-Mania.
Pac-Mania, yeah, that's a good one. Dig Dug Part 2.
Not that other one, the
Not
first
Dig Dug
one.
Part 1. Sky Kid.
And what was it? That game? I'm not even sure. It's like a lot of games. It was mostly Pac-Man. She did Championship Edition recently.
Yes.
That was her last game, I think she did, actually.
Yes, and then there were a lot of NES or Famicom titles in Japan that didn't come out here.
Oh, we forgot to mention Rolling Thunder.
Oh, Rolling Thunder, an absolute classic gem. I'll be playing from that game today. I'm going to be playing from the arcade edition of that. So we'll talk more about Junko after we get into the music. But today is episode 6-5.
Uh-oh.
So that's you start this one.
I'm so anxious, so nervous. I'm not nervous. I know what I'm doing.
So pick your very best tracks.
Well, all of them are the best.
Okay.
Stop.
Pick Miss Ozawa's very best tracks.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with not the one that drew me to the show. I'll hold on to that one to the next one. But the first track is from an off game that people know of, but a lot of people haven't played. Funny enough, including myself.
What's that?
The Tower of Druaga.
Oh, yeah, I know this one.
And the track is called A Dragon Appears. It is a fantastic tune. we're back. You are listening to what we've pretty much dubbed A Dragon Appears, because to our recollection, this track doesn't necessarily have an official name.
Yeah, we don't have official names, but it is the music for when the dragon appears. So we're going to call it Dragon Appears.
The funny thing about this game, I'll get into why I like the sound of the track, but the funny thing about this game is I've never actually played Tower of Druaga, but I have very fond memories of the tracks. And the reason is because of a little game for the also from Namco, called Tales of Destiny. For those who haven't played it, it's one of their flagship RPG series, and Tales of Destiny was I believe the second one that they did. So, in this game, one of the bonus dungeons towards the end, where you have to happen to find these 3 weird magic wands that are littered throughout the game, and if you find them and take them to a special place, you open a door, and inside that door is essentially a complete recreation of the Tower of Druaga game.
Really?
Done in the style of Tales of Destiny. So the monsters that would be in Tower of Druaga actually end up being normal fights in Tales of Destiny when you run into the monsters in the tower. And all the official original tracks are in the game, including this menacing tune, which is very scary when you hear it, because it's usually when more of the bad monsters start popping out.
Now,
wizards and crap.
Does it sound like this?
Pretty close.
Because, Tower of Druaga came out in 1984 in the arcade, and this is the port to the TurboGrafx 16. So, and I believe that's in 1992. So that's pretty interesting, but I really like how it sounds. So it was also ported to the NES, which I wasn't a huge fan of that sound, just because of it was kind of thin, you know?
Yeah, I can see that being the case. Whereas on the TurboGrafx, everything sounds good. So,
yeah, but yeah, think about it. From 84 to 92, that's quite a bit of time before they ported this over.
It's kind of nice though when you think about it in some way too. I mean, the track came from a very old arcade game, and even though it's been through multiple iterations over the years, again up till Tales of Destiny, and I believe it was 98 or 97, depending on when you count in Japan, it actually held up very well. It's a very simple track, but what it does very well.
It does, yeah. That kind of chord progression of the dun dun dun. I like that little spot right there, and then it ends with kind of like a haunted kind of house. Haunted house kind of feeling to it.
Yeah, it really does sound like you're on the floor of this tower you really want no part of. You want to get out of here ASAP.
I felt like the dragon appears, but it's kind of slowly coming at you.
I think that actually is how it works. I mean, in style of the game. I'm not sure if you actually fight the dragon. See, now I got to play it. I got to play the normal game, not the Tales of Destiny variant.
We'll have to try that out, and we'll talk about us trying this game out at the end of the show. But for now, I'm gonna pump up the volume and pump up the jams.
Pump it up.
We're going Rolling Thunder style.
Oh wow, my feet are jumping.
This is background music too from the game Rolling Thunder. This is the arcade version by Junko Ozawa. Yeah, you're listening to background music 2 from the game Rolling Thunder by Namco in the arcade.
By
By Junko Ozawa for the Namco arcade game.
I just
Rolling
like
Thunder.
I might start referring to it. I go, by Namco.
So this one was in 1986, and I picked the arcade version because rather than porting it to like the NES PSG, which is still a very good port. This was in the arcade machine had a Yamaha 2151 FM synthesis chip, which is why it has a very kind of Genesis sound to it.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense then, actually.
Yeah, even that percussion sounds a lot like it, but it's almost used kind of sparingly. Like that kind of like cool snare drum only comes in every once in a while. And I love the synth horns. This is a super cool track.
Now I'm trying to remember because I haven't played it. Have you played Rolling Thunder?
Man, not since I was younger. There used to be a Rolling Thunder cabinet at like this pizza place down the road growing up, and I used to love that thing. It's very like back in the day. There's a lot of like action side-scrolling games in the arcade. Like you couldn't.
Was it Ralstan or Rostan?
Yeah, Rostan. Tons of them. There were so many of them. And I feel like even like into the 90s and later 90s, they just completely went out of fashion. People just didn't want to play them because I guess they were playing them at home. I don't know.
Yeah, it became once consoles hit Super Nintendo-esque levels, people started wanting more along the lines of competitive games in the arcade. That's where the fighting being boom kicked in.
Which is cool, but I mean like now if you even find an arcade, it's like every machine has to be like an event. You know, there's a big gun you can pick up, or you get on this motorcycle, or it tracks your movement so you can do this. You know, it's just.
Which makes sense, I guess, in its own way, because they got to come up with a way to entice you to a place to spend money on a thing that you can get at home for a fraction of the cost in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but I miss the days of like walking around and seeing like joysticks and buttons, and every game is just different.
Oh, you're telling me I'm still in that. You know how I am. I still want that arcade restaurant bar idea to kick off.
Oh, man.
That would be awesome. But the reason why I was asking, because I was curious about if this track fits the gameplay style, because it sounds like a very cool, stealthy track, like you're tiptoeing or sneaking around a warehouse or facility.
It is a lot of action, but there's like I think there's some stealthy stuff where you have to like, you're kind of like avoiding enemies and hiding behind things. And I remember this was 2-player too. Like there was like a man and a woman like spy, and so you had to run around and shoot the bad guys. But I remember they were really tall. Like they were they were kind of anime style with like really long legs.
So apparently their parents fed them Hamburger Helper too.
I don't get it.
No, that's why I always attribute my height to when people ask me, how'd you get so tall growing up? As if I had some kind of growth hormones, or that my parents just gave me all kinds of food, or that I had tall people in my family, which I really don't. And
so it was Hamburger Helper, was it? Wasn't milk?
Probably that was in the Hamburger Helper, yes.
You think you can pick on me now, but look out, because I'm having Hamburger Helper.
It made many a great meal.
And it's making my moans fairly strong.
Very long and kind of portly. So watch out. I'll slowly swig at you.
Yeah. He kind of runs into the guy and it's like, oh, my bones are so brittle. And like,
man, your fists are so cushioned. I can get punched by you all day.
All right, what's your next track?
Okay, for my next track, I think I'm going to go with the game that made me remember, or made Junko's name stand out to me as it is.
Very good.
And that game is the wonderful Pac-Mania, which was on the Genesis. It was originally in the arcade, of course, but I first heard of it when it was on the Genesis, which then did not get to play, but I'll go into that later. Anyway, the track that I am picking is the very first track that plays in the game, basically the track for the stage Blocktown.
Blocktown?
Blocktown.
Blocktown.
Check it out.
Okay, I'm bringing it back because that was weird. That thing was crazy.
You mean weirdly spectacular? Telling you, man, you are listening to Blockland, by the way, from the game Pac-Mania.
And this is the arcade version.
It's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, when these runs of notes come in, that's nuts.
She goes, it's almost like, this is, to me, back then, this is the video game equivalent to the person that's going nuts on the piano or the guitar. Like,
So tell me a little bit about this one, because I'm mistaken it for Pac-Land.
yeah, these games could not be any farther apart from each other as far as like styles go. Like this is more akin to the traditional Pac-Man game, but they made a few changes. One, they took it and made it isometric 3D. Two, they gave Pac-Man the ability to jump. Like, while evading ghosts, he can actually jump, which is, I think, this is the only Pac-Man maze game where he could do that.
I think I had this on the PC, like a PC port of this, or maybe it was an emulator, maybe?
I don't feel too bad. I didn't play it for the first time until Game Boy Advance got it on the Namco arcade collection.
Yeah.
Before
This part. What the hell is that?
Gold is what it was.
It's like a laser zapper.
Oh, the other thing that they changed for this game compared to other Pac-Man games, a lot more ghosts. I mean, a lot more ghosts.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I think I've
more
seen...
Ghosts is good. Ghosts is good.
Yeah, Ghost is good.
Ghost is good.
That's what that little bit. That's that one spooky part in the track is probably an illusion. Probably let you know. By the way, this game is a lot more haunted than the previous Pac-Man games we played. A lot spookier. But it gets frantic eventually. The mazes get hyper fast. Power pellets eventually gets to the point where they don't even work anymore. They're just there for points and bonuses. And all the worlds have a theme. I don't recall there being any actual effects on the stages. Just looks like Blockland is Legos. And then there's like another level, it's like a maze, which is also blocks, but it's a darker maze. And there's a jungle, and there's like a desert. It's just a really awesome game that I used to see pictures of in magazines advertising Genesis games, but I couldn't afford the game, or for that matter, I don't think I was able to find the game in the store. And then again, when the Pac-Man collection, I'm sorry, not Namco, the Pac-Man collection came out on the Game Boy Advance, and I believe 2002. This game was on it, and that was my first chance to play it, and I was addicted to it. Played it to death.
Oh, man.
And again, the tracks are just really good. She did a fantastic job on these. There's a lot of activity going on in each one. You feel like you hear a little something new every time you listen to it. In fact, I think I'm hearing new things in it right now.
I think that this song really, I think, shows off her style in most of the games that she worked on. It's kind of whimsical. And the composition is really, really tight. All the notes are really. I feel like every note is important. You know. Mm-hmm. But it's also like this part. It's fun. It's a little not.
Here it is. I'm telling you. Think about it. Just imagine her on the keys, like like freaking out, smoke coming out of her ears.
Well, I'm gonna change things up. How about that?
Is it going to be more frantic stuff like this?
No. My next two tracks are not.
Oh, man.
So then my next two tracks, I think there was an American release, but I'm not quite sure. This is a game for the arcade called The Return of Ishtar by Junko Ozawa, and this song is called Sakabas, or Sakabas.
Sakabas? Sounds like a weird, delectable veggie dish with vinegar.
Yeah, I don't know. With vinegar.
Yeah, definitely has to have vinegar.
So it's, it's pickled.
I could do pickle too,
Yeah,
but I'm thinking
place a big plate of sakabas.
I'm all for. Let's hook it up.
All right,
Pass
so this
the sakabas.
So this is Sakabas from the game The Return of Ishtar for the arcade by Junko Ozawa. This part's so weird. This little short track is called Sakabas from the game The Return of Ishtar by Junko Ozawa for the arcade. Also known in the States as the Resurrection of Ishtar. It's like an action RPG, like role-playing game, but for the arcade.
This sounds really good.
The gameplay looked really neat. It looked similar to Tower of Druaga, so I almost assumed it was some kind of sequel or something in the same like situation. But I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I know that this track is so different and it's really dreamlike. I love the way all the notes like run together at a few points. It's really cool.
It's driving me bonkers, though, because as this track is playing, I swear it sounds familiar, and it's killing me as to where I would have heard it from. My best thought is that it was probably the bonus boss in Tales of Destiny 2, Glimmer Spire, but I could be wrong, and that might be from a different Namco game where she's like, it was maybe a game like Rise of the Valkyrie or Quest of Valkyrie or something, but I feel like this is related to the music in Glimmer Spire, but I could be wrong.
They may have reused it. I mean, I know that a lot of her music was then rearranged for different instrumentation for like the Namco museums, that collections of games that came out for the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and just everything else. So maybe you heard it there. But this also sounds a lot like some kind of like 80s movie.
The scrolling
sequence.
text.
Yeah.
Mannequin 3. We're still on the move.
Mannequin 3. Yep, still moving.
Mannequin 3. Yeah, they somehow found another darn inanimate mannequin there. Maybe you should kiss it.
Mannequin 4. I found the arm.
Mannequin 5. This is getting kind of creepy, dude. Seriously.
Mannequin 6. Oh, I dropped it again.
And then, of course, Mannequin 7. How in the hell is Hollywood still working at that store?
Hollywood. Mannequin 8, Hollywood's Revenge.
And of course, that has to be the final one because, well,
right. And then to finish everything off, because it was a part of the Marvel movie universe, Mannequin 10, The Return of Ishtar.
Of course. Now I want to watch all of these films. They'll all have Hollywood and some variation of William Ragsdale.
Stan Lee is in every single one. He plays a bit part. He's an extra. So Mannequin 1 and 2. He's Hollywood.
How did he pull that off? The man is truly magical.
He's an actor.
And what an actor. True believers.
He's something. The mannequin will come alive if you're a true believer.
Or William Ragsdale.
I'm really reaching for that there.
I'm just being clowny. I'm not even. This is one of those things to me where it's like, it's not even a reach. It's just like, I just want to make stupid mannequin references. And the opportunity came up. So let's do those things.
That's good. I like it. Anyway, this is nice. I really like this short tune. It's really fun, real 80s.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think this is a really good pick. And it's very soothing. It gives a rather heavenly feel, which I guess kind of relates, Ishtar being I'm trying to remember now. So I'm going to put a little thing on Facebook about Ishtar. Because I know I've been playing a lot of Megaten games, folks, so the premise of who Ishtar is has been jumbled for me in such a way since then. Because she's in like every game, and she looks different in every one of those games. But
the Mesopotamian
with fertility.
East Semitic goddess of fertility, love, or sex and power. The whole nine.
See, I'm good. I knew I was on it a little bit. The last minute it clicked.
Oh, Mannequin came alive. She is the goddess of love, power, sex.
Wait, is that really what it?
No.
I was about to say, like, are you serious?
Oh my god.
That would have been pretty funny. Like, apparently, Mannequin really is about the goddess Ishtar in the form of a doll in a department store.
Hey, let's stay on the move. What's your last track?
Oh, way to turn it back.
Yeah, I had to bring it back around. Bring it back around.
Okay, we are now bringing it back around to a brand new quest, a special quest, a quest of Key. That's the name of the game, by the way. The Quest of Key, and the title track, or rather the track title, is just the main theme for the game. It's the music that plays on pretty much every blasted stage. But here we go. It's good.
What system was this one for again?
I believe it was on the NES.
Yes. All right, let's check it out. So the main theme for
The Quest
of Key.
of Key. This the main theme from the game that goes by the name The Quest of Key. Junko Ozawa wrote this awesome track. It's on a game made by Namco. It's a great track.
It's fun. It's very jaunty. I'm gonna call this one jaunty.
It is, isn't it? Like, it makes you kind of, it puts some pep in your step. Makes you want to go out stepping a little bit. And then sing about wearing a shirt outside in the middle of winter. Because if you didn't, you'd freeze.
So I think this one came out in '88 for the Famicom called Kai no Boken.
I have never heard of it until looking up information on this show for her. And now I want to play it. I did a little bit of looking at what the gameplay is like prior to the episode's kickoff. And it kind of resembles a sort of Solomon's Key / Mylon Secret Castle style game where you enter a room through a door and then you have to locate a key within this room while avoiding monsters and traps and the like. Every once in a while you'll come across a power-up. And then once you find the key, you have to find the next door to the next floor and then pop the door open and boom, you're moving on to hearing the same track again in another room. But it's not a big deal when you're listening to this great track, and she must have known what she was doing, or what kind of, or more so, she had to have known how much you'd have to be listening to the same track because she made sure to keep it peppy.
Oh, there's a lot of different parts to it too, which is cool for an early NES title that has a lot of different parts to the song. Also, I think there's only 3 voices. There's no like noise channel. There's no percussion. It's just the melody.
You know what this reminds me of as far as like, you know, style and the way it's used in the game? The Adventures of Lolo.
Yeah, Adventures of Lolo. I can see that. Very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
And I am liking it. Like, now I do want to play the game. I learned also while we were doing the research. Actually, no. This was you that figured this out. That it's a Japan-only game, which is all the more reason why we have never heard of it. Or I haven't heard of it. You might have been holding back on it.
I was wrong. I think it did come out in the States.
Wait, really?
I could be totally wrong. It's hard to get the information on that.
Well, I'm going with your first statement, but if you're wrong, I'm playing it in English later.
I think, as you well know, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet.
This is true.
You know, President Ronald Reagan released The Legend of Key to promote his foreign policies.
That's actually true.
That's totally true.
That's true. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah. All right, so my last track.
Oh, no!
My last track, it's from, again, another arcade title. I think it was Japan only.
Is it Rystar?
It's called, it's Rystar.
I had no idea she had involvement in Rystar, but you learn something new every day.
She did the voice. She did, wow! No, it wasn't her. No, this is a game called Questor.
Questor? Not related to Quest 64 in any way, is it?
No.
Thank heavens.
I want to say it's a clone of Arkanoid, because it's an Arkanoid type game, but isn't Arkanoid Namco?
I think that's Midway.
Midway, okay, so then it's a clone of Arkanoid. Because you're right, that was Midway.
Oh, well, there you go then. That was Namco's answer then.
Futuristic-y looking thing, really cool 80s, like flashy future spaceship package, but the game is straight up Breakout.
Well, let's hear what this music sounds like.
So this is the ending music to the game Questor. So there's an end to this game, which I never thought there would be an end to like an Arkanoid style game. But
Oh no, they were doing games like that with ending. Well, we'll talk about it when the track's up because now I want to talk about it.
all right, so for the arcade game Questor, this is ending by Junko Ozawa. Yes, this was Questor for the arcade, the Namco 1 arcade system, composed by Junko Ozawa. That was the ending theme, and that was a little journey, wasn't it?
I honestly want to hear a track that plays during the game proper now because
Yeah.
I got to tell you, if that's how the music in game sounds, this is probably, I don't use this word too often, so I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
This is probably the most epic version. This is the most epic soundtrack to a freaking Arkanoid clone I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, let's blast off again. Here we go. It starts off like it's just so. Oh man, it's so awesome. That's so awesome.
It sounds really good. And it sounds like it would be a Genesis style game because it has that dum 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 dum.
Yeah, it's definitely got that synthy FM bass. But even this part here, the little twinkly synths.
I really like this track. And
Questor will find you again.
and he will whack the ball with his paddle forehead and then score bonus points. Like I can't even make this sound epic because it really. You guys might not know this game, so you heard Rob go Arkanoid clone and think, maybe lore less. No, it looks exactly like Arkanoid, all the way down to the shiny paddle and shiny blocks.
I'm gonna have to find excuses to play this soundtrack again because it's so good. It's so neat. And it has such a bigger, more adventurous sound to it than it should. It should be some kind of overhead space shooter.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
sounds
or some
like a
kind of adventure
shooter.
game. Yeah, but it's not. It is absolutely not.
Yeah, the music for this game probably should be like bloop, bloop, like the last game. Bloop, bloop,
Yeah,
bloop,
right.
bloop, bloop, bloop. This would have been more fitting for Quest of King, probably. I don't know what she was thinking with this, but all I gotta say is I'm glad she thought it because while it may not necessarily fit the game, well, I guess technically the paddle does launch into space, so maybe it was
does.
intended to be a journey or a quest.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's like a metaphor for. Oh, this is the.
Space madness.
This is like falling into a black hole.
And then the dreams start.
And then the nightmares begin. Oh wait, hold on. But then this happens. I did not expect this to happen. Here it comes.
But it did.
But it did.
Someone does.
And thank you for playing. Winners do not use drugs.
That is true. They really don't. Sometimes.
So I think that's a good time to say it's time for the part of the show we like to call the bonus round.
Bonus round.
The bonus round is the part of the show where we play remixes and covers based on today's theme. Today's theme is the composer focus on Junko Ozawa, the classic Namco composer.
Now, mine has a bit of a lead up because, quite frankly, it's going to. Well, first and foremost, I want to say Smash Brothers for the 3DS and Wii U came out, I guess, over maybe like 2000, beginning into 2014 or so.
I do not know.
And leading up to that game's release, as most Smash Brothers players know, they like to tease with release, real videos. Like, hey, oh my God, I can't believe that, the guy from Xenoblade Chronicles is in the game because he's really feeling it. But one particular surprise announcement caught me way off guard.
In a Smash game.
In Smash Brothers.
Smash Bros.
And the big rumor mill was stating that the big surprise reveal is going to be Lloyd Irving from the game Tales of Symphonia. A lot of people were claiming they really wanted him in the game, and this would have been possible because Namco had involvement with the recent Smash Brothers release. So, lo and behold, as expected but unexpected, Pac-Man got the shot as a Namco character in Smash Brothers, and they revealed it in the best way possible by using my favorite track from Pac-Mania. Pac-Man Park.
Pac-Man Park.
Uh-huh. So
that's, you saved that track for the bonus round. This is Pac-Man Park, and then but this is for Smash Brothers?
No, I didn't want to do that because it's Smash Brothers. People know Smash Brothers.
Okay, sure.
But the person that wrote, they did a remix of Pac-Man Park as well.
Okay.
And the person who did it goes by the name of Metal Yoshi Guitar Pro. And it is a really, really good track. So good that I'm not making this up, by the way. I found the track today at about, say, 2:30. I have been listening to it up until I got out of the car to come in your house.
Okay, wow.
I like it a lot.
All right, so let's get into this. I got to hear this now.
Oh my God, I love this track. It is by the man known as Metal Yoshi Guitar Pro. I don't know how he came up with that name, but I'll take it. It's interesting. I like it. But I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm looking at, you ever heard that time, those scenarios in your life where you're watching a movie and, more so specific, you've already watched the movie, you try to get a friend to watch said movie and react to it the same way you did? I just experienced that with this track where I'm listening to it and now it's playing on here. I both know why I like it, and I'm still like, it's okay if you don't, because I can't explain what it is that I like about it, but it's just a really good rendition of Pac-Man's Park.
This is really good. I do like how quick it is. And again, it's got kind of that kind of synthy bass like the last track had.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of where it is for me. Like when it goes to do, like it sounds good. He's shredding pretty well with it.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Really good stuff. So we'll have links to Yoshi guitar,
Metal Yoshi Guitar Pro.
Metal Yoshi Guitar Pro.
Yes.
We'll have links to whatever he's got on the website, even if it's just his YouTube, because we want to make sure, because a lot of his other stuff is really great, so we want to make sure people get to listen to that. So my track is actually also from the Tower of Druaga, but this is an arranged version, kind of like an orchestrated version for the re-release on the Namco Museum Volume 3 for the PlayStation. So the games were split up into different kind of game rooms, and so this is called the Tower of Druaga Game Room Theme from the Namco Museum Volume 3 for the PlayStation. We're back. That was the Tower of Druaga game room theme from the game Namco Museum Volume 3 for the PlayStation.
I was quite a fan of that. And I don't know, maybe the listeners can back up on this if they notice something, but I swear the very beginning of that track sounded very familiar, and I couldn't quite place it. My best guess by the end of that song is probably the intro tune for Galaga when your ship flies out. But I could be wrong.
So it could be like a medley of some Namco things, but, you know, it's Tower of Druaga themed. It still works.
Oh, it's still awesome, too.
It was a cool track anyway. I like how it starts off all like big and there's all these strings and cellos and then beep, 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 beep. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1996 Pac-Mans.
Waka, 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 waka. Waka, waka.
So for more information on the artists showcased on the bonus round part of the show, check out the website rhythmandpixels.com.
Did you just say Rhythm and Pixels?
With them? Oh my god!
You did.
I have a story to tell you when we come back here. But anyway, listeners, you, hey you, rhythmandpixels.com.
Rhythmandpixels.com.
Go there and go to their music pages and hit the subscribe button.
I don't know why. It was funny to me. It really was.
thanks for joining us today on the Rhythm and Pixels video game music podcast. Our focus on one of the greats, Junko Ozawa.
I am very glad we went with this topic because not only did it give us some interest, give us some new games that we'd like to try out in the future, but, oh my God, this woman has quite the repertoire.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to do another composer focus, so I think we'll have the holiday episode, and then we'll do at least one more composer focus before we get back into some silliness.
Any clues on what it might be, or is it just something we'll have to wait and find out?
Okay. Mike, I'm gonna give a clue for my vote into that hat. All right. My clue is futuristic Genesis side-scrolling action.
We did Tim Fall. Some stuff.
That could be anything.
Pretty much. It really could. There's way too many games that fit that mold.
Arcade port.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting a little closer. Getting a little.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that would be. Anyway,
not
talking about it. We're talking about this one. So, but yeah, I want to do a few more female composer focuses because there's so many, and this is good that we started with Junko Ozawa with this early '80s Namco music. I feel like we're starting from the beginning.
I think I have to agree with you on that because I think this is also in the history of our show. This episode has had the most old songs or more. I don't want to say old per se.
Well, I'm usually playing
historic.
Yeah, I'm usually playing more of the classical stuff.
Yeah, it's true. Whereas this time it was all bets on. Everyone bets on classic, and I couldn't have been happier with it. And I got an excuse to play Pac-Mania tunes. Well, hey, I'm smiling.
So yeah, some stuff going on with the crew, the Rhythm and Pixels crew. I'm planning a YouTube. Well, we have a YouTube right now, but we're just kind of cross-posting the show. So if you like the show and you listen to your media through YouTube, you can find us there. For definitely, you can subscribe to us. But we're also going to do a series of Let's Plays, or we should call them like We Plays.
Oh dear God!
We play, you watch.
I thought you were just say we play. It's like we play. Like don't no.
No, that would be a replay.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is we call them you watches.
I can dig that.
I don't know. I was thinking of we play
Pixels with rhythm. I don't know.
Pixels with rhythm. I like that one. This Pixels got rhythm.
Bass.
So yeah, so we're playing on that. I'm kind of hung up on doing like fun animation and stuff. I'm having a good time. So if anything, I'm gonna have a bunch of cool sprite artwork animations of us, and maybe I'll make a game out of it, and that'll be available too.
Will the game involve me eating lots of hot sauce coated donuts?
You can do the animation for that.
Oh.
Or maybe we can make it can be like a thing where you have to find all the donuts and eat them.
I can dig that.
And then you have
hot sauce covered donuts.
Yeah, so you have to put the hot sauce on the donut. Be like a burger time.
There it is. See, you got to run over the sauce so it squirts down on the donut.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. So expect some of that soon, coming to a YouTube near you. If you'd like more information, if you'd like to contact us, first of all, hey, you wanna talk to us? We want to hear about it.
Oh dear Lord!
What's the email for now?
Rhythm and Pixels at hotmail.com.
Oh man, I need to finish this before I ruin the rest of the show. For more information on the show and for a full track listing, go to the website
rhythmandpixels.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of those places at Rhythm and Pixels. And hey, if you're listening to us on iTunes, please hit the subscribe button. It'll help more people find the show, and in turn, help more people find this great music.
Also, I just remember something definitely worth mentioning on here before I forget. In the event that a Rhythm and Pixels listener happens to really be a fan of also listening to people talk about video games, I actually recently did a guest review for a video game called Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and it is contained on a podcast that goes by the SML podcast.
SML.
SML.
I had a hard time finding that one. I thought it was SNL.
That would have been a trip, right? Yeah. And copyright infringement.
Totally.
And the episode that I was on is the SML podcast, episode 241, Tensely Jousting. It was a pretty fun time. I got the guest on it and get
Cool.
down to business with talking games. So if you want to check it out, give it a listen.
All right, SML Podcast. You heard it here. Check that out. Thanks for listening to the Rhythm and Pixels Video Game Music Podcast. I'm Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Have a great week.
And remember, it's not about what your gender is when you talk about a game or if you whether or not you like a game out. The only thing that genuinely matters is, do you like the games and are you having fun with them? Or in the case of creators, are you enjoying creating games?
I would like to add that there's no reason at all that every person who enjoys games should not be more inclusive to anyone else who is interested in the hobby.
You ain't lying about that. Why would you want to exclude folks? That's just kicking some of the fun out.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
This is the all homies club. Everyone's welcome to play.
Every homies club.
Even homie Glumpkin.
Home and Glumpkin.
Oh, Simpsons again. I had no choice.
All right, that's it. I'm out.